have a quorum.
Item number 2, the flag salute.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to turn it to Mrs. Villalona for item number 3.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to once again announce that we do currently have an open board vacancy replacing Dr. Dale Caldwell, and that resumes are to be addressed to the board president.
Thank you. Reminder that our next regular monthly Board of Education meeting will be held on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, beginning at 7 p.m. at New Brunswick, here at New Brunswick High School in the auditorium. Moving to item number 4, presentations. I'm going to turn it to Mrs. Hill.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will be reporting New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment results for the Spring 2024 administration. And the components that I will be reporting out on are the performance levels, student participation, the assessment results, comparative and aggregated and disaggregated subgroup data, and the intervention strategies for each of the content areas assessed. The statute requires all 11th graders to be tested. The NJGPA measures graduation readiness in ELA, English Language Arts, and Mathematics. The ELA component assesses grade 10 ELA standards, and the Mathematics component assesses Algebra 1 and Geometry standards. Students who take but do not meet the minimum required score of 725 points on each component of the assessment will have the opportunity to receive additional supports and may take the following steps. First, they are able to retake the ELA and/or mathematics components of the New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment in the following summer or fall. Second, they can meet a designated cut score from the menu of substitute competency test. Or third, they can complete a portfolio appeal. The New Jersey Graduation Proficiency Assessment uses 2 performance levels that delineate the knowledge, skills, and practices students are able to demonstrate. A passing score, which translates into being graduation ready, is a level 2, 725 to 850 points. The Spring 2024 NJGPA administration, a total of 569 students took the ELA assessment, and a total of 568 students took the math NJGPA. You also see here the breakdown for each of our schools, the New Brunswick High School as well as our Adult Learning Center. Similar to the state, there was a larger percentage of students who were graduation ready in English Language Arts than in mathematics, with 71.7% of our students being graduation ready at the district level. Here you see the breakdown of those proficiency by schools. You'll see New Brunswick High School with 72.1% graduation ready, and Adult Learning Center with 61.1% graduation ready in English Language Arts. In mathematics, you see here at New Brunswick High School, 28.4% of our students graduation ready, and at the Adult Learning Center, 5.6% of our students graduation ready in mathematics. The Hispanic or Latino, Black or African American, and economically disadvantaged subgroups shared similar graduation-ready performance in English language arts as compared to the district. Ability diverse and multilingual learners did not perform at the same level. In mathematics, the Hispanic or Latino and economically disadvantaged subgroups shared similar graduation-ready performance as compared to the district. Ability diverse and multilingual learners did not perform at the same level. New Brunswick Public Schools saw growth in both English language arts and mathematics from spring 2022 to spring 2024, with the greatest increase in English language arts, which is 52.9 percentage points increase. The specific intervention strategies that we are implementing now for this academic school year are specific to mathematics and English language arts. We are providing students who are not yet graduation ready with targeted support and interventions specific to the district evidence statements that are released by the state prior to retaking the assessment in October 2024. We have also aligned the focus of the content between our district common assessments and the NJGPA evidence statement analysis to determine the focus of instructional support with the curriculum being implemented. We're going to also provide targeted interventions during the WIN period, what I need instructional period, to strengthen the conceptual and procedural knowledge required on NJGPA. And lastly, we will engage identified students in Tier 3 supports in mathematics, reading and writing interventions during a lab, math lab and ELA lab at the high school level. Here you will see specifically the standards that are being addressed. The curriculum that we will be implementing during the WIN intervention period, during the math, reading and writing lab, and during extended school day at the high school will focus on the following standards. Here you see Algebra 1 and Geometry standards that are specific and aligned to the evidence statements released by the state. These are the areas in New Brunswick Public Schools that we need to focus on based on the data. This is for mathematics. This is for English language arts. So we're focusing on informational text as well as literature and then writing. And then lastly, for our multilingual learners, these are specific standards that will be implemented during the ELA portion to support all of our multilingual learners. This concludes my report. Thank you.
I'm sorry if I may, Ms. Lagos Hill, for those board members that aren't part of the Curriculum and Policy Committee, and for anybody here present, I think it's important to note that the state did make changes on what the passing score is. So if you could just mention that, because it seems like we did have some growth in certain areas, but it's important to note that the state did change the passing score.
Yes, previously, the passing score prior to May 3rd, 2023, the passing score was 750 and it was changed to 725. That was adopted on May 3rd, 2023. And that's on the second slide presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hale. Moving to item number 5, minutes. Can I please have a motion for minutes for June 18, 2024? Second.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Noted. Ms. Varela? Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Moving to item number 6, the superintendent's report. Dr. Aubrey Johnson.
Yes, good evening. I have a couple brief statements. As of July 2024, we enrolled 9,182 students. We had 4 cases of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. There were 147 suspensions. Our staff attendance was at 94%, and our student attendance was at 88%. We had 1 positive COVID case for an employee and 0 positive COVID cases for students. As we ended the school year on July 25th, Woodrow Wilson Elementary School had a ribbon cutting ceremony to celebrate the remodeling of the library with STEM additions such as 3D printers and other curricular resources that will benefit our students. We thank AbbVie and Heart of America Association as well as our own staff for all of their hard work in making this happen. We are also proud to announce that our district received national recognition for the National School Public Relations Association for our outstanding efforts in the categories of social media and special purpose publication. This acknowledgement highlights our commitment to effective communication and engagement within our community, and we will continue to get better at it. The official award ceremony will take place at NSPRA Annual Conference in Seattle, Washington, where we hope to join our distinguished honorees from across the country to celebrate this achievement. Just to close, I didn't know if I was going to say this or not, but I think it's really, really important because I've been really concerned. I think I wrote an op-ed not too long ago of the children are watching that was published in the school leadership. And I still believe and I know that our children are watching. And when I say watching, they are watching adults and they are learning and they're behaving and rationalizing how adults behave. The reason I want to speak on this is because at the high school graduation, I spoke about the world need a lot more kindness in the world. And I'm concerned about that because I don't see the world as kind at this moment. And as I spoke to the students, I do think that it's important that we speak to adults in terms of we need a little bit more kindness. Not to talk about the sequence of events that just recently happened in the news, but we must understand that we have to find better ways to communicate. In my conversation with students, I talked about finding better methods to get your point across. And also being empathetic and listening to other people's point of view and not to have a myopic, narrow focus, believing that your point of view is the best point of view. And when we don't have that, what I share with the students is that, when we have people talking over each other, regardless of whether it's face-to-face, news outlets, media outlets, it starts to sound loud. And when it starts to sound loud and it continues to elevate, then it becomes chaotic. And I think we are now in a space of, I don't know if chaoticism is a word, but let me brand that. But I'm not worried about the adults. I'm really worried about the young children that we serve each and every day and how they are interpreting the world. And it's important that we understand the importance of kindness. And it's really just understanding people's point of views and appreciating it through their lived experiences. So I just wanted to end with that. That concludes my opening remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Can I please have a motion to accept that superintendent's report?
Second.
Ms. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Ms. Varela? Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Moving to item number 7, Facilities Committee report, Mrs. Yesenia Hernandez.
The Facilities Committee was held on July 10th at 5 p.m. The high school gym addition has been completed and the certificate of occupancy has been issued. We are now in the process of installing equipment in the fitness room as well as final cleaning. Students are looking forward to the new addition coming this fall. We reviewed a presentation for the site-specific mock-ups for our district-wide LED signage project. During the summer, we will be installing LED marquees throughout the district. The marquees will be based on the size and design currently installed at the high school and our Blanquita Valenti school. At the completion of the project, we will have LED marquees at all district school locations. We reviewed the status of our McKinley HVAC upgrade projects. We are replacing the gym and the kitchen HVAC units. In addition, we are also replacing all the classroom unit ventilators on the second floor. The work is proceeding as scheduled, and we expect it to be completed by the end of the summer. This concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Moving to item number 8, the athletic committee report. Mr. Benito Ortiz.
Athletic committee did not meet for this month, so there's no report to give. We need approval for the June 2024 athletic report. Any motion?
Second.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez,
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz,
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood, Mrs. Solis,
Yes.
Mr. Spencer, Ms. Varela, Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Moving to item number 9, the curriculum and policy. Mrs. Ayana Solis.
Thank you, Madam President. The Curriculum and Policy Committee met on July 9th. Summer school was covered on Monday, July 8th. The district began summer school programming for 2024 for approximately 500 students in the elementary grade levels and over 650 student course sessions at the high school level. The programs being offered include project-based learning in mathematics, language arts, science, art, and PE for students in grades K through 7, a summer bridge program for our incoming 9th grade students, and credit recovery and credit advancement for our high school students. Our summer school programs will end on August 2nd. We did cover resolutions. All resolutions were reviewed and recommended for approval. All resolutions are in the consent agenda. No policies or regulations were covered during that meeting. That's my report.
Thank you so much. Item number 10, the Student Support Services Committee, Mr. Adorno. I'm not sure if he's taking that. We'll just skip that report for tonight. And item number 11, the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, Dr. Aubrey Johnson.
At this time, there's no report until I'm officially board approved to be on.
Thank you. Moving to item number 12, public comments. Do we have anyone, Mrs. Violina?
Yes, we have 2 residents who have signed up to speak, beginning with Mr. Charlie Cradaville.
Good evening, please state your name and address.
Good evening, Charlie Cradaville, Saddam Street, New Brunswick. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today. I want to say again, congratulations to the graduates. I really appreciated everyone's remarks at the high school graduation this year, and especially the student speakers. And I wish everyone well. Hope you're having a good summer. I do have some questions about the resolution. So Resolution R is almost $1 million for security cameras. Can you tell me how many cameras are part of this agreement?
Please.
It's replacing all the security cameras at this school here, which are outdated, so it's in the hundreds, as well as doing Lord Sterling in the middle school. And Lord Sterling just has very minimal coverage right now, so it's adding full coverage in Lord Sterling as well.
Got it. So we're talking several hundred?
Yes.
Resolution AA, I'm interested in learning about the alternative space for suspended students. Can you tell me a little about this? Is this a new program?
Yes, this is a new program that we're trying to put in place. We're just looking for an alternate way, especially our middle school students. I'm working with the Teen Center as a segue, rather than in terms of suspension, that they also report there, provide with some substitute coverage as well as some mentorship as well. So, for example, if a student suspended for, let's say, 2 or 3 days, rather than stay home, we will see if we can work with the teen center that they will report there, providing that they have the appropriate certified substitute teacher there to provide instructional supports, but at the same time working with the teen center to provide mentorship for those students. We're looking to redirect some behaviors more at an earlier grade than at a later grade. So that's what it's basically about.
Thanks. It sounds promising. I'll move to AS, is renting out space at 900 Joyce Kilmer Avenue. Can you tell me what the cause or the reason is for that?
This is space that we have been renting since about 2021. It's additional storage space for receiving department.
Receiving, so same as at the other Joyce Kilmer location.
It's an additional unit.
Okay. I did also want to just ask if there's any update you can share on the board vacancy. What can the public expect in terms of the board moving to fill this? Will this be something on your next agenda to decide?
George, would you please?
It'll be filled at the next meeting, and the board got one resume so far, and we'll discuss it in public at the next meeting.
Terrific. I just want to close by saying you should eliminate the advanced sign-up requirement and give the public more time to speak, allow remote participation, record the meetings, and make those recordings public. Thank you.
Moving to item number 13, the President's report.
We have one more
we
speaker.
have one more person, I'm sorry.
Yes, next up we have Ms. Linda Stork.
Good evening, everybody. I did have a couple of questions about the resolutions also. Resolution E, I'm not clear on what that is. It says the implementation of services to provide a curriculum management platform to support ongoing curriculum goals for next year. I mean, it's almost $50,000. It's the cost of a person, an actual employee. So can anybody clarify what that is for?
Yes, it's currently to house all of our curricular documents. We currently use Google, and we come up with a lot of obstacles when someone leaves the district and they're the owner of all the Google documents. Many other districts, they use a platform to house all of their curricular documents, which allows the mobility to not impact the housing of the curriculum, and also allows everyone who needs to have ability to access the documents.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that's a one-time expense?
Yes, we will be also using, I believe, title funding for this. So,
All right. I'm wondering also about J, materials and professional services to support implementation of a phonics program. And there's another literacy one, T, for intervention, for literacy intervention. Does our language arts and literacy program that was adopted not cover phonics and intervention strategies? Because it's a lot of money.
are you referring to Resolution J?
I'm referring, yes, first, to J, which is for the phonics program, which would usually be a component of a language arts literacy program. And also for the intervention, it's also often a component of the program, and that's $250,000.
So
This is
for,
$500,000.
it depends on comprehensive programs. Some of them offer all of those components. What we currently have in the district for English language arts is not a comprehensive ELA program that brings all of those pieces. So that's why we have a district-approved curriculum to address all of the NJSLS standards in ELA. But now with the new standards, we also have seen a need and an impact in implementing foundational skills through Wilson. And this is to also include for our preschool. We've been seeing positive impacts and gains in grades K to 3 and now we're bringing it to preschool, pre-K-4 for this upcoming school year.
Bringing what, excuse me, the Wilson language training to preschool?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
You're bringing the Wilson language training to preschool?
Yes, there will be training. This is inclusive of, this is not just for preschool. This is the training for preschool, but also consumable resources for K-3 for continuity of program.
Thank you so much for your questions, Mrs. Sorg. Have a good evening. Thank you. Moving to item number, do we have anyone else, Ms. Villar?
That's everyone.
Thank you. Moving to item number 13, the President's Report. I just want to talk a little bit more. I just want to bring attention to the life that schools take on during the summer. A lot of people think, well, there's no teachers, there's no kids. But as I'm going through some of the schools, I'm seeing that there's a lot of people that are working hard to make sure that we're ready for September. So I just want to extend our gratitude and our thank yous to all our custodians and maintenance people that are working kind of silently, making sure that everything is going smooth for September. So, and on that, I hope everyone's also enjoying their summer and reading some books. Right? So. Moving to item number 14, the consent agenda, resolutions A through AY. Can I please have a motion to...
Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Ms. Varela? Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Moving to item number 15, the Finance Committee report, Mrs. Patricia Varela.
Good evening. The board is in receipt of the finance report. Can I have a motion to accept the July 16th Finance Committee report?
Second.
Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz? Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer? Ms. Varela?
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla?
Yes, abstain on page 7, please.
Noted. Motion approved.
Resolution for closed session, item number 16. Whereas the Open Public Meeting Act, New Jersey SA 10-4-6 provides that certain matters of a public meeting may be discussed in closed session, and whereas the Board of Education intends to discuss matters as follows. 1, personnel matters, and 2, matters of attorney or client privilege. Now therefore be resolved that the aforesaid subjects shall be discussed in closed session by this Board of Education and by administrative staff, and the minutes of said closed session discussion will be made available to the public when the reasons for the non-disclosure in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act no longer exist. Can I please have a motion for closed session?
Mrs. Medina Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood?
Yes.
Mrs. Solis?
Yes.
Ms. Varela? Mr. Spencer? Ms. Sevilla?
Yes.
Motion approved. We are in closed session.
Thank you. We will be back.